Ah, welcome. Getting settled. As we're getting settled and people are coming in, we like to make sure that we catch up with each other. So, what is new in your life since 1 month ago's masterclass that you want to celebrate? What's something that you are celebrating or looking forward to that you would like your peers here in the room to know about? So, open up that chat and share in the chat with each other. Let's catch up or get to know each other for the first time if you're new in the room. Um, all right. I think it's time to kind of get going with meeting some friends here. Everyone likes to see and connect with more than just the one person in breakout rooms. So what we do is an icebreaker or an ice melter activity, thanks to Jan Kek's naming there, and kick off with a prompt about kind of getting to know each other and finding out what we have in common. So instead of looking at our LinkedIn profiles or physical appearance and seeing what we have in common, let's figure out what we got that's a little bit deeper in common with each other. So I'm going to model with the panelists first, and we will first introduce ourselves. We'll share something that our favorite way of connecting with each other, and then we're going to share something that we found in common with someone recently that surprised us. And so it's not about necessarily commonalities with each other at first. We're just sharing our introduction and what's something that surprised us recently in our life. And that way we can get to know each other first. And then the prompt after that, after all four of your people in your breakout room have introduced each other, is looking at how do we as a group have things in common and kind of going through that discovery process. And I will warn everyone, this is a very fast ice melter activity. The point is not to spend a bunch of time in the breakout rooms, is to quickly say hello and have some fun and get the energy going. So, on that note, let's invite today's Connection Crew co-hosts to model with me. Let's bring them up on the spotlight. And you'll get to know all of them more in detail later too, but a little preview introduction. Welcome, Andy and Kamilla, and Christy is the final one we're waiting for. There she is. All right, team, I'll model first, but the prompt is your name, where you live, your favorite way to connect with people, and something you were recently surprised to find in common with someone. So, my name's Hansen. I live in San Diego. I know we don't have that in common. And my favorite way to connect with people is that one-to-one intimate connection at a little boutique coffee shop and local coffee shop. I just love coffee shops and I love that deep conversation and maybe the stimulant I get from the caffeine itself and having a really fun conversation there. And one thing I was recently surprised to find in common with someone is a man I met just on a phone call. We realized both of our significant others did not see us as potential partners when we met them. So, what a random, odd thing to have in common, but we had a good laugh about it and maybe shared some tears. So, I will volley to Andy to go next.
Sure. Thank you so much for having us here today, Hansen, and to the entire team for making this possible. I'm Andy. I live in Madrid. My favorite way of connecting with people is through maybe ambiance. I don't know, like wooden tables, candlelight, dinner, maybe a little wine. Can be one-on-one or in a group. I just love the magic that generates. And something I recently found in common with someone was this person who went to my high school who we hadn't spoken in years. And recently I found out he's doing an expo. He's an artist. He's doing an expo with one of my favorite artists from a long time who still is like niche and not very known. And I had been trying to get to him and now it's like a little triangle. So yeah, just an artist in common with a friend I hadn't spoken to in forever.
Love it. Welcome, Andy. And Christy, how about you?
Hey everyone, I'm Christy. I live in Santa Cruz, California, or Bay Area-ish, and I love connecting with people through laughter. And lately, I've been asking people this question, getting to know them is, what's something that makes you belly laugh? And it has been such a fun question. And even when they just stop to think about it, they just start laughing out loud. And then I get to hear stories and get to see something more about them. And it starts me laughing as well. And something recent that blew me away. I was in a Zoom community with some other professionals, colleagues, and I had somehow this came up that years ago I had spent a month living in this small village in Kenya, like dirt huts, dirt floor huts, and so on, very remote village. And this man who's in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, he's Indian. I didn't think we had anything in common. That little village he'd been to dozens of times, and his mother grew up there, also Indian. And he had that as a place like home in his heart, just like I did. And it was crazy that we had that amazingly remote thing in common.
And last but not least, Kamilla.
Hey everyone, so excited to be here. Hey everyone, I'm Kamilla. I am dialing in from Westchester, New York. My favorite way to connect with people. It really is like, it doesn't matter the setting, but I love like finding that person that you kind of feel that you can connect with and just like listening to their story, like learning about the whole person and just like kind of zooming in, and it just connection happens automatically almost like once you learn a little bit about the person, and that depth is very exciting for me. And what I learned about recently about having in common with someone, well, someone I don't know in person, but someone I admire, is Jim Quick. And I recently moved to New York, to Westchester, and I thought that I know nothing about the area, and kind of still trying to get excited about the whole, being here. But I'm very excited that Jim Quick has office actually in the same town I live in. So I'm looking forward to potentially bumping, into him on the street. I don't know, maybe Trader Joe's if he likes it.
Love it. All right. So in the breakout rooms, you'll have a little bit more time than the four of us just had. You're going to have 4 minutes total, and you're going to have 3 other friends to get to know in there. And we'll share all these prompts in the chat for you so you don't have to remember. And have some fun together. Get to know what you have maybe in common with each other, but at least start recognizing what you maybe have found you have common with strangers recently, and get to know who else is in the room in this connection crew. And on that note, enjoy finding some things in common. Hopefully there was enough time to find one commonality, at least between 2 of you. If you did find something, share in the chat. Is there something an uncommon commonality you found between the 2 of you? Or was there some magical commonality between all 4 of you in the room? Thank you everyone for playing along. That's our little warm up to both get you guys to see and meet more than just one person at the Connection Masterclass, and also to give people time to join us and get here and settled and ready to go as we officially kick this thing off. So that is now, it is time to get us officially started. You are at a joyful masterclass, a joyful masterclass for connection professionals. Welcome. My name is Hansen. Yes, it's my first name. And no, I didn't say handsome. I lead community efforts at Covve, including hosting this connection crew. Now, connection crew is where connection professionals collaborate, and we have some friends of that connection crew here in the room with us. We're a team of peers passionate about connection and inspired to take action to flatten the loneliness epidemic curve. Now, who is it for? We found that for the most part, there's a lot of people doing amazing connection work, but doing that work alone. Bit of an ironic thing that the connectors in the world are a bit lonely in the work they're doing. They don't have that team. So we've decided to build that high-performing team and help them feel supported and amplify their impact in the world. And so we can come together and support each other, collaborate, brainstorm, mastermind, have fun, sharing the joy. And this is also invitation based. So everyone here has been invited. You probably see someone in the room in the gallery view that you know or that invited you. So thank you to the people who extended an invitation. That meaningful invitation matters and helps people feel seen and like they belong here in the connection crew. And at Covve, we're dedicated to helping people build meaningful connections through technology, community, and education. We believe strong relationships are essential for success in life and career. That's why we invest in the Joyful Masterclasses and hope to help you build deeper connections through the connection crew and all it has to offer. Now, thank you, Giannis and the Covve team, for believing in me personally to bring this crew to life and together. It's an honor to be here with everyone. And one way we intentionally leverage technology that you can see here with several people in the room is this digital background that I have has a QR code on it. And you can just easily stay in touch with someone by scanning that QR code rather than trying to take a conversation into the chat or get off the Zoom and go on to LinkedIn and try to keep connected there. This is a very seamless, intuitive way to just tap that person's QR code, scan it with your phone, and don't worry about it. It'll send you an email introduction. So yeah, that way you guys can keep in touch and keep going. And a few takeaways that we promise folks that are coming to this masterclass. One, that joyful feeling of connection. That's why we call this thing the Joyful Connection Masterclass. Two, learn and practice 3 connection activities. There will be 3 co-hosts facilitating activities that you're going to learn and practice, and those activities will be sent to you afterwards, so you can actually bring these into your own communities, your own connection opportunities, and make at least one new friend. You're going to be in a breakout room with one person. We want you to get to know someone at a deeper level rather than try to network with 20 to 30 people on a Zoom call. Now, how this will work, there's going to be 3 breakout rooms coming up where you have the same buddy. It's just the same 2 people each time. So do not leave your buddy hanging. That would be very sad if they showed up at the breakout room and you had disappeared. Emergencies happen, totally understand. But we want you to be there with the same buddy, all 3 breakout rooms. Not everyone will feel an instant connection with their buddy, and that's okay. I invite you to notice how this format we use today gives you an opportunity to connect with people you may not normally have met and connected with, especially since this is a very global community. We're all over the world in different time zones, and we even sometimes have people dialing in from India. So I hope you get to meet someone interesting and new today that you haven't met in the past, or get to know an existing friend. We follow a learning model, this I do, we do, you do format, where I will share the activity and what it looks like for me, so that way you get one example of it, and then we'll invite a panelist or host to join live on stage, be in the hot seat, and do it in front of you. So that way you get to see it done twice, and then you'll go into the breakout room and do it with your breakout room buddy. And that way it really solidifies the activity in your mind, and so you can go replicate that more easily outside in the world and spread that connection. We'll do those 3 activities, and then we'll have a kind of a wrap up, a poll at the end. And then if you can stay for an extra 15 minutes, we'll have an optional after party where we just bask in the afterglow of connection and hang out with each other. So let's invite our first Connection Crew Masterclass co-host, Andrea Diaz to the stage. Welcome, Andy.
Hey, Hansen. Thank you for having me here.
So good to see you on here finally. I know we've been working on getting you on as a panelist for a while. I am sad to say you and I have never met in person, but I'm so grateful for how much connection we've actually had over the last year. It's been amazing to collaborate with you and get to know you better. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for being here. Please, if you would, briefly introduce yourself, and I invite you to share, if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing in the world, what would it be?
Okay, great. So I'm Andy. It's a pleasure to be here. I am on a personal mission to build a more connected world to ourselves, others, and the planet. I married my high school sweetheart. I've lived in 7 cities in the past 7 years, and I love dinner parties, art, and nature. I am the founder of Casa Cinco, which is a home for experiences, resources, and people reimagining how we connect. This is currently mainly done virtually, with the exception of events, and hopefully getting a physical component soon. And more recently, I joined a fundraiser at Belong Center, a US nationwide nonprofit on a mission to end loneliness and build a culture of belonging. And we'll be talking about that in a second. But to answer your question, Hansen, about the magic wand, undeniably, I would change the misinterpretation of kindness as weakness, and I'd replace it with kindness as strength.
I love your magic wand change, so I'm on board with that. And hopefully we can bring that to the world as well. And that starts with you sharing some of your golden wisdom with the group here today. So I will let you take it away.
Absolutely. So this is exciting. At Belong Center, we design one-of-a-kind products and programs that empower everyday citizens to essentially combat loneliness and isolation. We do this through a series of initiatives, most recently launching our National Social Connection Corps movement and app. That's a mouthful. But we're already bringing hundreds of people across the country to perform Rascals. These are our random acts of social connection and love. Now, one of our rascals is our drop-off connection questions, where we encourage participants to go out into the world and help communities connect more meaningfully through intentional questions that are dropped off at restaurants, coffees, bars, wherever people gather. And today we'll be doing the virtual version of that. So I'm going to invite Christy, if I may, to join me on stage. Hi, Christy.
Hello there.
How are you today?
Very good. Good to be with you.
Likewise. So, Christy, today we will take turns answering the following questions. What is something that you are proud of but don't get to talk about much? I'm going to repeat that. What is something you are proud of but don't get to talk about much? Now, 2 considerations for your answer. First, note that the question has 2 parts. So it's something that you're proud of and you don't get to talk about much. So if it's on LinkedIn, maybe let's search for something else. And then when you think about your answer, it's natural to default to work accomplishment. And by all means, if professional fits, go for it. But I would encourage all of us to think of other areas of life and consider relationships, health, hobbies, skills, whatever it is that you may be proud of and don't talk about much. Now, I will start, simply not as to put you on the spot, but then I would love to hear from you. So something I am proud of but don't get to talk about much is the fact that I'm proud of my marriage. Now, obviously, I talk about being married and my husband and whatnot, but it's usually from a place of gratitude and usually from a place of like, I'm blessed with this relationship. But when I was thinking through this question, honestly, good relationships and strong relationships take work, right? They take work and sacrifice and service and a lot of active things that I am very proud to have done with my husband, which has taken us to the point we are now in our life, which is very happy. How about you?
When you said the question, what immediately came to mind is my 2 kids, Shayla and Trevor. And I am so proud of who they are. And just they are the coolest humans. They're both in their 20s. They're getting into adulting. And they are they're kind and they're intentional and they've got, purpose. They're sort of grounded in who they are and they're adventurous and they're fun. And I guess the second part of the proud is they love hanging out with us. And I'm just like, that's my dream
so cool.
As a parent, is that they love hanging out with us. And we're about to leave on Friday next week for a surf adventure. And my daughter, her new husband, my son, like they look forward to it and they actually want to hang out with us. So that's a dream as a mom that we get to spend time like that still together, even though they're grown up.
Such an accomplishment, something to be very proud of. Thank you for sharing. So now, as we all hop into the activity, you will be given 30 seconds to reflect. And once in your breakout room, introduce yourself to your buddy and take turns answering the question, what is something you're proud of but don't get to talk about much? Quickly, 3 things to keep in mind. I invite you to be intentional. So the invitation here is to share, again, something you don't get to share about as much. Second is to be curious. So highly encourage you to explore areas beyond work. And perhaps most importantly, be joyful. Let's use celebration of ourselves and our buddies' accomplishments as a conduit for connection. So good luck and see you back in a bit. Excellent. So hope that went really well for all of you. We will be sharing a quick reflection on the chat. And I would highly encourage each and every one of you to do this on your own, and then also a few links in case you're interested in learning more about our work. Thank you all for doing this with me.
Thank you, Andy. And you can maybe monitor the chat here real quick to see if people are open to sharing and what's coming in. But I'm sure there's a lot of great shares about what people are proud of. So if you're open to sharing, feel free to throw it in the chat. And if everyone could please do a chat waterfall, gratitude waterfall for Andy. Let's real quick throw out some gratitude saying thank you for being here. Thank you for collaborating and co-creating this experience and sharing your activity, and being a part of the Belong Center and Casa Cinco and your work in your own world. Just thank you so much for being you. And we appreciate you being here. Yeah, that's a good chat
Loving
waterfall. Thank
this.
you. Thank you for the chat waterfall, everyone. I love that. All right. Whew. All right, one down. Don't worry, you will have more time with your friend. I know it probably feels like there was not enough time. That's okay, and that's intentional. I want to leave you wanting more. You're going to have 2 more breakout rooms with them, and then the world is your oyster after the masterclass. So next up, let's please welcome Christy Tonge to the floor.
Hey there.
There she is. Welcome, Christy. Good to see you.
Great.
And I guess one of the things I'm proud of in response to Andy's is that I've done some good work about building relationships in my life now that I get to see in person more often. And I'm excited to see you in person here in Berkeley tomorrow.
Yay.
And I'm just super proud of that. Christy, if you would, please briefly introduce yourself and kind of what you do and who you are. And if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing in the world, what would it be?
All right. Well, I'll start with a bit of my life. I've been in the Silicon Valley all of my adult life, but 3 years ago moved to Santa Cruz over the hill, and I am living in the most beautiful place on earth, I think. My happy place where the redwoods meet the ocean. And so I love getting to be in this beautiful space that's also a creative space for people, and still tap into life in Silicon Valley. So I call myself a disruptor for good, and I'm a culture consultant. I am an executive leadership coach, and I lead sort of a passion project professionally. I lead the Bay Area chapter of Culture First. It's a movement of people who believe a better world of work is possible and are willing to take action. And I've got a podcast on authentic leadership called Leaders Get Real. And when I say I'm a disruptor for good, new in my life is to have a license for Disrupt HR. And many of you may know that it's like a TEDx event held in cities all over the world. And now I can hold Disrupt HR, just held my first one. And so I'll share more about that in our exercise. But if I also could change something in the world. Let's see, my first thought was I'd bring Ted Lasso back sooner because there's rumors it's coming back, or I would convert more tennis courts in America to pickleball courts. That would be cool. But a change in the world, I would want it to no longer be necessary for people to make this effort to make a case that diversity, equity, and inclusion actually makes teams better, makes companies better, and higher performing. And we work so hard to try to make this business case. And I would wish that companies are courageous, they step up and they embrace diversity and inclusion in every way because it's the right thing to do. And they also demonstrate that they will be wildly profitable in the meanwhile, because it will make a difference on so many levels.
I'm behind that. I don't know if I'm fully behind the pickleball court transition, though. I don't know
There is
if I
a
bought
lot of polarizing in the America right now over that.
very controversial, but it does seem like there's progress being made. Most of the courts are being converted, it seems like. Well, thank you for being here, Christy. I'm so excited to finally have you on the masterclass and for our in-person, in real life friendship as well. But please take it away.
Wonderful. Well, today, but we could explore this idea of disruption. And when you think about that word, I'm curious, what are words or images that come to your mind as you think of your first impression? And feel free to put any of that in the chat as we start to think about that. And I as I've thought about this word disruption, it's interesting because usually disruption is thought of as a negative sense. And we think about disrupting meaning to disturb, to interrupt, to undermine, or interfere, or even wreck something. And we use it in everyday language to describe things like he disrupted the meeting when he came in late, or the power outage disrupted our plans, or that decision disrupted all our progress. But I've been intrigued that disruption can also be a powerful positive force when we think of it. Forces like catalyzing and innovating, or reimagining, trailblazing, or transforming. We can employ disruption for good. And that might look like disrupting unhealthy patterns in a relationship, challenging groupthink on a team, shaking up old assumptions in a company culture, or imagining a bold product that changes how people live or work. So today we'll have the chance to explore what it means to be a disruptor for good, for growth, for change, for the better, and to think about a time when you were a positive disruptor, and consider one act of disruption you may want to take in the next week. So with that, each of us will get to consider that. And I want to invite my partner onto the floor as well, Kamilla, who's going to get to do this with me. And so the question that we're all going to ask is, what's a specific situation you recall when you disrupted for good, and what were the feelings or emotions associated with it for you? And so I'll model that first, and then I'll invite Kamilla to do that. Disruptor for good. This one, my daughter was the impetus for this. And then I got passionate and I grabbed on. And it was this idea when she was in 8th grade, this idea of our family pulling up out of Silicon Valley and traveling around the world. And we decided to do that and volunteer in orphanages in places like India, Thailand, Kenya, Honduras, and so on. And it was a huge disruption in our lives, and also disrupting the norm. Like in Silicon Valley, it was people, like, you've got to be passionate in your career. You got to be getting ahead. You got to, your kids got to be taking all the right AP classes to get in all the right schools and so on. But we decided to do it for a half of the year and pull out of work and school and so on. And so with that, think about some of the values behind it. And for me, the value was adventure, and it was about making a difference, and authenticity, that you could live your life in your own way. You don't have to play the game. You don't have to do it like everyone else does. And even though people said, oh my gosh, your kids, they're not going to get into college, or, you're going to ruin your career. Lots of fears around that, but it fueled me and our family to disrupt, and disrupt for good. So
That's
over to
amazing,
you,
Christy.
Kamilla.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Situation you recall. And I'm sorry, I said the emotions associated, which you can do, but especially want to get to the value that might have driven it. What's the value that drove it?
So, I've been a disruptor pretty much all my life. So that's, and you're talking about disruption for good, but I think it's also, you can ask different people and how they assess whether that's good or not, So generally good outcome. From my judgment. But the situation that came to mind is something, I think, like very small, but something so powerful in the junior year in my career. Not completely junior, but like early years of my professional career before I left corporate. I was facilitating this huge program where we worked with Fed, and it was a Fed exam. And if anybody knows anything about the Federal Reserve, everything has to be done yesterday, and there's no room for any mistakes. From the Fed, absolutely, but not from your side. So, and I was leading that meeting. It was 11 p.m. I was on a call with a bunch of executives, like super senior people. And they were just going on and on and on. And like we were 2 hours on a call. The meeting is in 9 hours, and it's my job to make sure that the meeting actually takes place, everything's printed, and the whole thing is happening. And I'm sitting there and I'm realizing we're not getting anywhere. And I remember I'm like just taking like all my courage in, and I'm like, you know what, guys, we have to stop right now. This is what I'm hearing. This is what it is. This is what we're gonna do. And if anybody has any concerns about it, let me know. Otherwise, this is how we're gonna go about it. And it was like dead silence. And I'm like, I'm getting fired. So, so, and then somebody said, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So we hung up. I had like, 6 hours in the office before the meeting to prepare in the meeting, to prepare to the meeting overnight. So this whole thing happened. And then, but the good part happened, besides me completely being terrified. Well, me being completely terrified. But after that, somebody called me right away and said, thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing. And then after the meeting, because we had really successful meeting, people actually, those managers who actually came to me, and everybody said like, thank you for doing that. Like if it wasn't for you, we probably wouldn't have been arrived, like wouldn't have arrived to where we are now. And I think what the value is that we think about leadership, or we think about our voice in like that hierarchy, or in a way that we can only do things when we achieve certain levels. But the truth is, each of us can be a leader. And leading means that really showing up authentically, following your inner voice, right? Like, and truly kind of having that vision of where you want to get. Like for me, the vision was like, I really needed to get to that vision, So there was like no question. And I knew that if I didn't do that, like it would have been much more rushed, and I really don't know where it would have been. So I think that that's like something that comes up for me. And the moment that was incredibly scary, but also incredibly, it was a turning point almost in my career when I realized, okay, I have a voice.
Oh, wonderful. Ah, what a powerful moment.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we're all going to get to do that. And with your partner, you're each going to recall and reflect a specific situation when you were a disruptor for good. What happened? And what was your why, or the value that was underneath it that was compelling you, whether you were aware of that at the time or not. But what was that value? And then for your partner, be curious. When you hear their story, you can inquire about anything you'd like to know about, and especially touch on that personal value that was at play and the feelings they had around that, the value that was driving it. And last, affirm them for their initiative or their commitment or their courage. And so with that, let's collectively prepare to go and share when you've been a disruptor for good and the why behind it. Wonderful. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had some really rich conversations, and would love to have folks put in the chat something perhaps that you really gleaned from doing that reflection. And you can also put what's something you did to disrupt and your why. So feel free to start showering in the chat. Something you learned about yourself. And really want to take it one more step before we part on this topic is, what's one act of disruption you may want to take in the next week? Doesn't have to be big and bold. It doesn't have to be a change of job or career or anything at all. Could be a small conversation. So last, to put in the chat, or at least in your mind, what is something that you want to take action on to disrupt? And if you want to put one or two of those, I'll call some of them out. I already saw some. Oh, I'm about to disrupt the despair and fear and help people to see there is so much more. Some good comments there. And other ones. Follow your instincts and intuition. Yes, often in that meeting, in that moment, there's a nudge, there's a stir. and we dismiss it and we put it aside. And I love that. This is about being able to listen to it and actually act on it. Thank you, everyone, for having some great curiosity together, and happy disrupting for good.
Yeah, thanks, Christy. And one thing that I love about connection, habit, and muscle that I've been exercising a lot over the last few years is accountability buddies, and making sure I have someone that helps support me and I support them on the things we're aiming to do. So as people are sharing in the comments here in the chat about how they want to disrupt for good in the next week or two, I invite folks to think about your breakout room buddy or someone else in the room where you're like, hey, I want to help you with that or support with that, or I want support with mine, and support each other, identify an accountability buddy as you go disrupt for good. And I know I've got my crew and the connection crew, and especially actually Tim Jones, who's been my accountability buddy each week on building this connection crew team. So, and that's my disruption coming. So, thank you, Christy. Everyone, please give Christy a massive round of applause and gratitude and shower her with kindness. And thank you for being here, Christy. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom and energy with our crew. Next up, and final activity for you all today. Let's please welcome Kamilla to the stage. This song, I feel like needs to be at the higher volume when you walk up. Like this is one of the ones you can't play this on quiet volume.
Oh, we're all unstoppable, so that's awesome.
We are all unstoppable. I love it. Thank you, Kamilla, for joining us. Thank you for collaborating together. Super excited to have you here. I met you at Culture Summit a year ago, and the host of Culture Summit was like, Hansen, no matter what, before you leave, I have to introduce you to Kamilla. And I was like, why? And she's like, I can't tell you. You'll just have to find out yourself. And I was like, okay, it's a mystery. Who is this Kamilla woman? And then we met and we sat together for a little while and got to know each other. And I was like, this makes sense. It's just like some energetic reason and collaboration opportunity came from it. So thank you for that moment. Thank you for being open to get to know me and the connection crew, and now being a part of contributing to it. So if you would, please give a brief introduction about who you are, what you do, and if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing in the world, what would it be?
Thank you, Hansen. So amazing to be here. And of course, so amazing to get to know you and getting to know you as we work together more and more. So, and the entire connection crew. So I think one of the most difficult questions for me is where you're from, because I am from all over the place, right? So because earlier we asked where I'm dialing from. So it's Westchester, New York, but I'm originally from Uzbekistan. I lived in Pennsylvania, in California, in both Bay Area and San Diego. And now, well, I lived in New York City for 8 years, and now I'm in Westchester, New York. So literally from all over the place. And my passion is really to help professionals deeply connect with their aspirations and set their goals from a place of like true alignment and reach those goals while they're enjoying their journey, like every step of their way. So I founded You Dream You Do coaching, and that's where I do the webinars and coaching, and I do keynotes to help professionals get to that like really deep, authentic place within themselves. I am a mom of a human child and 2 furry children, and I love traveling. So that's kind of about me. And if I had a magic wand, I would probably just kick people out of that feeling of complacency. Like I feel like so many of us operate within like that motion, that we are somehow victims of the of systems, whether it's government, religious, whether it's corporate, right? But we have choices. We are the creators of our lives. And I want us to all acknowledge it and take the ownership, take the power back. So that's, if I had a magic wand, that's what I would do. So I would really help people realize how much power they have, and that all those systems, a lot of those social norms that tell us how we should be living and doing our things, so outdated. So we're like the new thing here.
Love that, Camila. And I just realized we share a commonality of helping, a passion for helping coach people to enjoy the journey. And that's something I'm proud of with my marathon coaching I've been doing on the side, and helping people enjoy the training and the journey and not just the end result.
Yes, that's so important.
Mm, yeah. Well,
Because if
thank
the
you for
journey is
being here.
miserable, then the end result is kind of like you're just like resting from a miserable journey rather than really enjoying
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Well, I will let you take it away and share your activity with the crew.
Sounds good. So, as I mentioned, my passion is just really, it's all about goal setting, but it's very deep, kind of in values, value driven goal setting. So, what I want to do today is a little different spin on this activity. You probably have all done kind of activity. What is your goal? And what stands between you and you living the life of your dream or experiencing the goal that you have? But so a lot of times we think that the obstacles lay in this distance between where you are and where the goal is. But I want us to think a little bit differently. When we think about our dream, a lot of times it's a glorious moment on top of the world. I'm like, "I'm there." But instead, there's always this one thing that brings, maybe it's sorrow, maybe it's pain, maybe it's something else within it that actually tells your subconscious mind that you might not want to be there. So it's that beside this glory of accomplishment, of achievement, there's always something there that hinders your progress. And we talk about procrastination, we talk about a lot of things that feel like they are within the now, but the truth is that our brain, our subconscious is not fully ready to reach that milestone because of that fear. So I want us to think of the goal that you have. And I'm sure, again, a lot of you have a goal or talked about a goal, right? Like, what is one thing that you really want? And then, like, maybe close your eyes for just 30 seconds, right? And think about, oh my God, this is what I want. And this like glorious thing. And then, like, narrow down, go deep, deep, deep into that one place where there is a pain lives. Or, like, if I do this, something else is going to be maybe not as great, right? So we want to understand that because this is a thing that actually prevents you from going all out to get to that goal. And I'm going to model it with you for you and just to kind of show what I've been experiencing and thinking about. And to do that, I'm going to also invite Andy. Hey, Andy. All right. I was thinking about it. Maybe mine is like, I feel like the activities were like so cheerful, and this one is maybe a little bit on the tougher side, kind of thinking about, deeper things. So, but like this is what we want to talk about. What is the goal? Like maybe thinking about like for 30 seconds, kind of closing your eyes and really thinking, what is that goal? But again, instead of normal visualization, like I'm on top of the world, I did it, like really pinning it to what is actually not there as you think about this glorious moment, right? Like, because that is what prevents us from being there. And I'll share with you mine before I just kind of model. As I was thinking about this, I am a child of like my both parents are doctors, and like there's like this whole social upbringing of like there is a stability, there is education. You go step by step by step, get married, you have kids. There's nothing. You don't disrupt. Like God forbid, like I do not disrupt, right? So and all my life, all I did was disrupting. And I think, and as I have been disrupting, I've been losing people. So people who I really loved, really cared for, they were dear to my life. They just didn't see eye to eye with me anymore. And I had a choice, right? Like whether stay back where I was or kind of move forward. But then there were disconnections, or the disconnects happen. And that's sad. So when I see my vision of success, like I see myself disrupting and doing the thing that I'm doing, right? Like I see that big stage and thousands of people. And when I also see that I'm alone. And what it does actually to me, every time I post something on LinkedIn or do anything like that, right? What I do is I tone down my message because I'm not fully ready. I'm like asking, am I hurting other people, right? Like, am I pointing out to other people that maybe they're not living the life that they should be living? Like, I constantly challenge myself to, like, through other people's lenses rather than being the person that I am. And of course, the only person who can reach the success that I want to reach is the person who I am if I only show up authentically. So, and that definitely like creates this this disconnect, and I can only be there where I want to be when I fully can let it go. So that was my realization.
Wow. Can I just say this activity blows my mind, and I can resonate so deeply with what you just said, and it's something I had never thought before. Um, but when I think of, and maybe I don't know if this is conditioning or the books we read, the movies we see, I don't know what it is, the examples we have, but when I think of my goal, as you say, in this like amazing version of my future self, I'm also alone. And I don't know why I don't like being alone. And but yes, I mean the images are, it's like me in a boardroom, like in a like skyscraper in New York. And it's like, why am I alone? One. And two, why am I at a skyscraper in New York? I hate skyscrapers in New York. Like I want to be in like nature. Um, but it's crazy how those, obviously those two things don't match, right? So either I have to envision a different what success means for me, or yeah, and alter that image to be more in line with who I am deeply, and not just go for it because that's what may be expected. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, because I know those are not the easy ones to share. Those are the ones that are like really deep within us and we don't think about them. Often we just run away, like we don't really want to think about them. So for everyone now, right? So let's just take 20 seconds before we get into breakout rooms, and 20 seconds, maybe close your eyes and think about that goal that you have. And then like, as you think about that goal, just narrow down into what's within you, what's within your subconscious potentially that does not want or is afraid for this to actually take place, for this to actually happen. So, and how is that creating this disconnect for you? 20 seconds. Amazing. Everybody's back. Welcome back. So how was it? I would absolutely love to hear what came up for you, and not for a specific question, but maybe you haven't even thought that there was a dark side to your glamorous vision. Maybe that was like, that was an exciting part, or maybe when as you shared something, something deeper came up. What's an insight that you had, or maybe you thought about, how it actually prevents you from going after that goal. So what is it, one insight that came up for you as part of your discussion? Please share in the chat. I would love, love, love to see it.
I'm open to sharing out loud if you're open, Kamilla, if I could join you on
Absolutely
stage
love
here.
that.
Just as it's a room full of the connection crew, mine is related to the connection crew. And it's this fear of like, I have this vision for the team and what we're doing as a high performing team and flattening the loneliness epidemic curve and this big old hairy goal. And if I don't fulfill on that promise, like, and that the fear of is that failure of not delivering on that promise is getting in the way. And the crew can only do so much if I don't deliver on that or don't take the next steps to start building that. But so I do it with other people now, is how I'm getting through that fear.
You did an incredible job. Thank you, Hans. Absolutely.
People are sharing in the chat though, so I want you to,
It's
I don't
a
know if you have the
beautiful
chat
messages.
open.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Well, you keep sharing, and so a lot of people say that it actually was such a wonderful thing to connect and to experience vulnerability of their partner. So that's beautiful. And one thing that I'll just leave with you to take away is, what is one thing that you can do to slowly start addressing that fear, right? Like one thing, one tiny step. Like I'm not a proponent of huge leaps, like one tiny step that you can take toward starting addressing that fear, because that fear is old, and that goal is yours.
I love that. And I start every Monday morning now talking to Tim Jones from Connection Crew and to chat about start our week together and just say, hey, what are you afraid of this week? What are you trying to do this week? Let's go. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kamilla. Everyone, please send all the gratitude and love to Kamilla for being here and co-creating this with us. And not just Kamilla, but everyone involved, the Nerea tech team doing all the magic in the background, the Covve team for making this possible for us. Everyone, there's a lot of players that go into this and people that contribute to this experience. So thank you, everyone. We have a quick poll before we jump. Some people I know may already have to go. Totally okay, and then we'll have an extra like 10 minutes to hang in the after party. But I would love to know when you're thinking about the Connection Crew and specifically like connecting with the Connection Crew and joining a team. What are you looking for? How would you like to feel in terms of being connected to us in this community? Are you looking for that high performing team to be a part of and really working towards flattening the loneliness epidemic curve with us together with people that are like in the trenches together and supporting each other and masterminding and brainstorming and supporting each other with accountability and that kind of fun? Are you looking for more like just keeping connected outside of the masterclass, more frequency, more touch points, the member directory, some shared resources, things along those lines? Or are you a friend of the Connection Crew and this masterclass is cool? You want to be filled up, fill your cup with joy once a month and keep doing that. That's like your little joyful boost every month that you get to come and see and be with us. Or if it's not for you, totally okay. And not for you at this moment, let us know. And some people did ask me, and I was kind of like teasing it, but last time in the follow-up email, we sent you a link to create your profile. And that when people did that, that's what populated our member directory. So we'll do that again this time. So if you were wanting to be in the member directory last time and you didn't get in there, that's your chance. Look for the follow-up email. There will be a link to create your profile or update it if you already have one. And then we'll send a few days later or a week later the member directory where you can quickly see everyone that you were in the masterclass with today who also has a profile. You don't have to do this. So that's how you opt in or out if you don't want to have a profile in the member directory. And yeah, Kevin, read the emails. I'm sorry. That was my kind way of telling you to read my stinking email, Kevin. I'll call you next time if I don't see you do it and call you out on it. And I'm excited to get that going. But that's also just a baby step in the right direction on this big, hairy goal of creating a high-performing team with the Connection Crew. And we're launching on the Circle platform in the near future. And we have some people co-creating that with us. I'm super excited about that. And I've learned a lot from Laura Zug. And I know the emails are overwhelming too. But we are excited to keep going and connecting more than just this masterclass going forward. And we have one final excuse to reach out. One of the things we modeled together, and we did this for the first time last time, is extending an invitation, especially a meaningful, thoughtful invitation to someone. So now that we have you all here, we have the next masterclass ready to go. And someone invited you here, but who do you think needs to be here with us? It's important to help that person feel connected and belong and supported in their own community, in their own work of connection. So let's go ahead and send them an invite to the next Joyful Connection Masterclass and fill up their cup with joy. We have that link in the chat. That allows you to give a comp ticket to your friends. And if you've attended today, we'll also give you, next time when we send the invite to you, we'll give you your own promo code. But for now, you can use that promo code CrewFriends. And that allows you to extend an invitation to someone who you might think would align with the Connection Crew and the work we're doing around loneliness together. So with that, if you have to go, totally understand. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful for all of you. We had over 60 people in the Connection Crew gathered today. And I think over 45 of those people, are returning, which means we all know each other or getting to know each other more intimately as we go along and keep doing these activities together. And we are modeling that behavior that the world that hopefully we're teaching the world and going out. So spread those ripple effects of connection. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. We will hang on for a few more minutes and the after party, but officially we are complete. Thank you, everyone. Good to see all your faces now that I can go back to gallery view. As a facilitator and host of it, I don't get to see you all the whole time for the most part. I'm just looking at myself and the other panelists. But Randy, good to see you. Priscilla, welcome back. Dr. Jen, how does it feel, Jen, to not be in the hot seat anymore after you did last month's masterclass and now you just get to enjoy it?
Oh, it's so much easier. I was thinking that this morning. I was like, God, last month there was so much work leading into it and prep, which was great. But I was like, oh, it's so much easier just to show up half asleep with my cup of tea and just participate. So it was great.
But now you can empathize, right, with Kamilla.
Yes. Oh my God, how much you guys do
Andy,
behind the scenes
Christy.
is insane. It's really impressive. It's a lot. Yeah.
Katya, welcome back. Good to see you.
So good to
Who's
be
here? Who's here for the first time? Raise your hand. Brad, Diane, welcome. Randy, how did it go for you? Brooklyn, if you're open to sharing. And if you guys want to use the hand raising thing, then I can actually like follow and pick who comes next. Juliana, how did it go for you?
I was kind of nervous, but I'm
Me
very
too.
thankful with the team. The activity was awesome. I'm Andrea's sister, by the way.
I could tell with the accent.
Yes, and it was lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juliana, for being here and supporting your sister. What a lovely sibling. I need to guilt trip my sister a little bit more. Trudy, are you with us? How did it go for you? You're on mute.
There we go. This was absolutely amazing. I loved the format. I loved the way that you made it so easy for us to use the breakout sessions and you modeled. As an educator, that's one of the primary things that we know helps people in their learning process and engaging. And so to me, that was just amazing. I felt like I was sitting in a master class. This really was a master class. So I love the community and thank you for having me. And I look forward to the next ones.
We're grateful for you being here. Thank you, Trudy. And
Thank you.
of course, provide any of your wise educator advice in the feedback afterwards.
Most definitely.
If you have any feedback for us, we love that. Brooklyn, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. Richard Lee Tai is my mentor. I am so fortunate. So he invited me today. And what a joy to be here with all of you and Hansen, Kamilla, Andy, Christy. Just what a masterclass in joyful facilitation. It was beautiful to experience you and be here with all of you. So looking forward to next time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brooklyn. And thank you, Richard, for also modeling the intentional, actually, I'll use your language, the excuse to connect and inviting Brooklyn to the masterclass. And we had, who else do we have? Sorry, I went to the wrong screen. Brad, welcome. Good to see you.
Oh, thank you, Hansen. For one, great work facilitating such a large group and being so intentional with the time and the structure. So I was very impressed with that. I had a great partner, Eleanor, who's down there on the screen. We had a great conversation. I kept getting deeper and deeper with each breakout group. And Christy, it was great seeing Christy again. I've attended some of her events. So it's a great use of time, a great way to meet people. And I can't wait for next month.
Love it. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate you. Diane, welcome.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
thank
could finally
you.
make it.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to thank Christy for inviting Trudy and myself. It's just been such a great experience. Just love the facilitation, just love the richness of the conversation and the modeling. Yeah, it was just very, 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 very heartwarming to be part of this group today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. And Randy, fellow San Diegan now, how we haven't met in person yet, but super excited that you were able to be here and your dog is okay this time. So
Yes, last time that was a total disaster, but I'm glad that it worked out for me to be here, and I am looking forward to meeting you in person. But this is so cool that you've put this together. I mean, one of the things that I've learned as a professional speaker for decades, you're alone a lot of the time. People think it's this glamorous type thing when you do this kind of work, but I find that we're alone a lot. And this gives an opportunity to connect with others, which is exactly what you want to do. But I learned a long time ago that there's a difference between being alone and being lonely, that if you're doing your own work, the loneliness doesn't have to be a part of that. So to be okay being alone is really important, but it's really nice to connect in a forum like this. And I want to get more involved if I can. So, let me know what I can do. And I'm going to change my standing Monday appointments so I can come to the meetups in San Diego.
Yes.
So, yeah.
He's talking about in-person co-working, which is only in San Diego right now, but coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah. Oh, and also one of the highlights, Juliana was my partner, and it was so cool connecting with her. So, yeah, I know, right, Andy?
Same
Yeah,
to you, Randy.
she's amazing. She is amazing.
She's amazing, isn't she?
Yeah, she really is. So this was just overall a great experience. So thank you for putting it together. And the facilitators, you guys all did such a great job.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And this is not a knock on you, Juliana, but I do want to give a shout out to everyone here. It's actually pretty awesome because no matter who you get in the breakout room, you're probably going to be there with a pretty awesome human. And that's the magic here. So it's about who we're in the room with, who we're collaborating with and sharing with. Giannis, you want to be our final recap and send us off?
Yeah, I loved it, and I love the fact that I got to experience Camilla's exercise in a breakout room. So yeah, this masterclass compared to others put me on the spot and got me thinking and reflecting on a goal I have that I can affect as of tomorrow. So I'll start doing that.
You missed our breakout room where my goal was related to Connection Crew, but we'll have to follow up on that.
We'll have to exchange. We'll have to exchange notes.
I have to hop in and say, from behind the scenes, we panelists, we got to see the whole process and this collaborative co-creation that Hansen has been leading and with the co-team, but such a beautiful process. But one thing we did in building our community is we had to name ourselves, and we were the April Masterclass. And we started, on April 1st. And so one was like, well, we're fools, April Fools. And another was like, the springtime is a time of blossoming. So we are now calling ourselves Blossoming Fools. And it just strikes me that like all of these people together gathered, perhaps we can all go be blossoming fools in the world.
Let's do it. Have a little fun as we're going on this journey together. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Andy. I mean, you guys' activities were amazing. Thank you, Kamilla. It's so much. It's so amazing to come full circle with relationships that I've been nurturing and building for a while now, and then collaborating on a project together. And I hope more of you get to do that with us in the future or with each other is what makes me super happy. But on that note, let's officially say goodbye. And the way we like to do that this time, we'll go back to the tradition of a high five. So all at once, we're going to do a high five to the camera. And when we do that, that'll be how we end the meeting. All right. So on the countdown of 3, 2, 1, high five.